Dre all day.
You are now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day, to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve is yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. That is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, and techniques, all under the umbrella of one unifying philosophy that is called work on your game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic, this topic is a combination of strategy and execution. It is called Things Do Not Work. Do not work just for you. In other words, if a process is working, it does not decide to not work just when you come along. And if something is functional and it produces a result and you are not able to produce a result, that means that it's something that you did or did not do that caused that situation. The situation did not just decide to hiccup when you walked into the room. We're going to talk about that and get to that. It's also a mental toughness and discipline thing as well. We're going to get into that in a minute. First, let me tell everybody that I have a daily motivation text that I send out for free every single day to everyone who's in my text community. You want to be in my text community and get that daily motivation text, I guarantee you it'll be worth the 15 seconds it'll take for you to read it. My number is 305-384-6894. Send me a text to that number right now. Again, it's 305-384-6894. And every day when I send out the daily motivation, you will be a recipient, which means you will not only get that message going to keep you focused, sharp, and on point every day, but you can respond to any one of those messages, and you will be texting directly with me, Dre All Day. You can ask me a question, you can share a challenge. I might ask you a question and ask you about your challenges as well. So text me at that number. It is down below in the show notes. Again, 305-384-6894. Now, the topic here today, things do not work just for you. I sometimes get people using this phrase with me when I tell them about a certain process, a certain strategy or tactic, or something I know can produce a positive result for them. And I get people who will say things to me like, well, Dre, yeah, I know that worked for you, or worked for him, or worked for these other 372 people, but it didn't work for me. They will give, and usually the reason this happens is because either people have given a half-assed effort to execution, or they did not perform properly at all, or they expect things to just work out for them without putting in a real serious effort. They didn't really do the work. They didn't perform things strategically the way it's supposed to be performed. Again, usually it's because they gave some kind of half-assed effort to whatever they're doing, and then they report back that this thing did not work for them. So going all the way back to my basketball days, I used to have these dribbling drills that I used to do. That was one of the things that really drew a lot of people to me through YouTube when I first got online, was dribbling drills I would do for basketball players, just to help you get better at dribbling the ball. And sometimes players would come to me and they would say, not all players, but some players would come to me and say, well, Dre, I've been doing this dribbling drill, but it's not working for me. These drills are not working for me. They're not making my handles better. I tried that move and that move didn't work for me. And I would always say to the players, and sometimes players would ask me, well, Dre, how am I sure that this program or this drill or this move is going to work for me? They would ask that question from the opposite direction. And I would always say to them the same thing. Listen, this is just a program or a move or a drill doesn't work. All right, all that they are just ideas. They are just instructions on a piece of paper, or instructions that you have in your head, or something that you look at on the screen. They don't work. People do the work. So if you say, well, I did that program and the program didn't work for me, well, the program is not supposed to work for you. You are supposed to work with the program, not for it, but with the program. So if that thing if you're not getting the results that you wanted, that means there is something that you're not executing on. So let's go back and figure out where you made a mistake, because yes, you did make a mistake. And if you're not willing to own that, and if anybody who would bristle at the fact that I even say something like that, yes, there's a mistake that you made, that's why this is not working, then I don't know if I'm gonna be able to help you. Actually, nobody's gonna be able to help you. You can't even help yourself with that mentality. It's like, I talked about this in the past, but in the United States, the health and fitness industry in the United States is a $33 billion industry. That's 33 billion, not million, but $billion industry. Meaning every year, $33 billion gets spent on health and fitness products, ideas, programs, trainers, etc., etc. Now, let me tell you the entire health and fitness industry, what you need to know to have good health and fitness. Be mindful of what you put in your body and make sure you are moving your body and being active on a consistent daily basis, period. I just summed up a $33 billion industry. Now, here's the question. Why does $33 billion get spent every year in an industry that I could sum up in one sentence? The reason why is because of the very point that we're going to talk about here today. That people sign up for a personal trainer, don't lose weight, and then say, well, I work with that personal trainer, but it didn't work for me. Well, if the personal trainer is worth their weight in dollars, which I would assume that they are, at least they have some general idea of what they're doing. Usually when a person signs up for a trainer and doesn't get the results that they want is because they didn't show up to the workouts, or they were half-assing on the exercises, or they counteracted what they did in the gym or what they were doing in the kitchen, and they screwed up the entire situation, not because the trainer was incompetent. Usually that's what happens. Someone signs up for a diet program and doesn't lose weight or get in shape. It's not because something was wrong with the diet program. It's because you didn't follow the diet program. This is usually what happens. And do I have any personal trainers who are listening to this? If I got that wrong, you let me know. You ever have clients who don't get the results that they wanted in the time period in which they wanted it? What's usually the reason they didn't get it? It's because of client non-compliance. That's why things go wrong. And damn near every program of anyone who is worth their weight and knows what they're doing is because of non-compliance of their clients. People just not following the program. So the reason that the health and fitness industry is a $33 billion industry is because someone signs up for a trainer in 2014, doesn't lose weight because they didn't follow the program. So next year, let me get a different trainer. They don't do it again. They don't follow the program. 2016, let me get a different trainer. That didn't work. Okay, let me sign up for this program. That didn't work. 2018, let me get another one. And each time is because they are not complying with the program. They go spend more money on a different thing, a different thing, a different thing, a different thing. And the thing is, as time goes on, the problems get more severe the older that you get. So every year you got to spend a little bit more money to solve a problem that keeps getting bigger and bigger until eventually you're paying the doctor tens of thousands of dollars for surgery when you could have solved it by getting a $50 membership to the gym 7 years ago. And I'm only using the gym as an example here, but this is what people do when they say something didn't work for me. All right, again, things don't work. People work. So there's no such animal as this phrase of something not working for you. And we're going to get deeper into that here today. Point number one, topic again today is things do not work just for you. Number one, if you follow a program that others have followed successfully, yet you do not get the desired results that you wanted, that means there is something that you did or did not do that caused this outcome or lack of outcome, period. There are no exceptions. The thing about systems and processes is that they are not even inanimate objects, but let's just call them that. They are simple directions. If those directions have been proven to produce a result, then your failure to achieve a result with those directions means human error has interfered in the process. So if there's a strategy and a process that we know this works, anytime someone plugs into the process, they get a result, and then you don't get a result, that means you, the human, is the variable in the process. That means something you did caused that outcome. If you get different results than what the strategy is proven to produce, the only variable, the strategy didn't change. The strategy was a strategy 3 weeks ago when somebody else got a result, and yesterday and today and tomorrow is the strategy didn't change. The only thing that's different are the people employing the strategy. So if you didn't get a result, that means you are the variable, which means you're the thing that needs to be fixed, not the strategy. So what needs to be varied is the variable. The strategy is the control group. It stays exactly the same every single time. All right, all you're familiar with the scientific method. I know many of you have been out of school for a while, but you can brush up on it. Scientific method, you have a control group and a variable group. The control group is the process. The process works the same way every single time for everybody. The variable is the person. Every human being is unique, right? So anytime a human being does not get a result using a system that has been proven to work, that means the human is the issue every single time. Just like following a recipe for making a meal. If the recipe is proven to produce a certain dish and yours didn't come out right, that means there's something you didn't do. All right, the directions did not go rogue and decide to change on you. All right, either you didn't get the right ingredients or you didn't follow the recipe, one or the other. Point number two, today's topic once again is things do not work just for you. Number two, while it is true that some things are not for everyone, I 100% believe in that. Formulas are formulas because they work every time when they are followed properly. That's the reason why they're called formulas. You follow it, it produces the same result every time. The same things, the same way, every time. That's why they're formulas. So your job is to choose your formulas wisely and know what outcome you are after before you decide to start applying a formula, because you don't want to apply a formula that you don't need to apply. All right? You want to apply the formulas that will help you get the outcomes that you want. So this is where you got to be vigilant. All right, what formula do I need to apply here? Sometimes people make the mistake applying the wrong formula at the wrong time. This is a mistake people make. They start following what they see other people doing without asking themselves what outcome they're after. So you follow a tactic that someone's following, but you don't understand the underlying strategy that goes behind the tactic or underneath the tactic, the foundation of the tactic. The foundation that the tactic is built on is a strategy. If you don't understand the strategy, but you follow the tactic, you can follow the tactic and not get the result because you didn't ask the right question. And I told you, asking the right question is more important than having the right answers. So when someone follows a tactic and don't get the outcome that they thought or hoped they wanted, they look back at the formula and say, well, what's wrong with this formula? This formula didn't work for me. No, that's wrong. The problem is you didn't know what your outcome was from the beginning. You followed the wrong formula, or you jumped into the middle of the formula without understanding the basis in the beginning, the baseline of the formula, which means you just chose the wrong formula. The formula ain't wrong. Our formulas don't change. They are what they are. The formula does what it's supposed to do every time when it's applied the right way at the right time by the right person who has a clear goal. For example, give you an example here. Sometimes I hear from entrepreneurs who will look around and they'll see other entrepreneurs who are allegedly, ostensibly, making a lot of money doing some tactic, whatever that tactic may be. And the tactic might be they see that this person is running a whole bunch of Facebook ads. So let's say somebody's, we'll use fitness. Somebody's in the personal training industry and they look around and see other trainers who look like they have a lot of fans and a lot of customers. And that trainer who's making all the money and has all the fans and customers, they are running Facebook ads. So this other trainer who sees them doing it, they say, okay, well, it looks like Facebook ads is making this person money. So you know what? I'm going to run Facebook ads. So they start running Facebook ads too. The problem is this trainer who is the monkey see, monkey do trainer does not have the foundation or the system or the funnels on the back end of their business in place that the successful entrepreneur has in place. See, the successful entrepreneur, before they started running Facebook ads, they spent years building their brand, building their audience, establishing whatever they have on the back end of their business that you can't see through Facebook, all the follow-up sequences, all the email automation funnels. They have their sales funnels in place. They got their follow-up and responses in place. They got their products and services in place. They know exactly who they're selling to, exactly what those people need, and exactly how to talk to them about it. They got all of that stuff in place that you can't see on the back end. All you see is that they're running Facebook ads. So then you go run Facebook ads, and then when yours aren't producing results and you're going broke running Facebook ads, you say, well, running Facebook ads doesn't work. No. You don't work. You didn't do the baseline work to even have the things in place for you to even be running ads as an option. You shouldn't even be looking at running ads yet because you didn't do the baseline work yet. You didn't do the background work yet. And this is what a lot of people do. They see one piece of what somebody's doing and then they say, well, I'm going to go do the same thing. But you don't know all the other stuff that person is doing. You don't know all the other stuff that you can't see that is going on. And so you think you're following a formula, but you're not. You're following, that's a tactic. See, a tactic is just a random thing that you can pick up and just do at any given time. A formula or a strategy is an entire program. There's an entire process, a lot of it unseen, a lot of it that someone from the outside looking in can't see a strategy. You can see a tactic. You can't see a strategy. So you can see a tactic of, I tell you that I go outside and I run 6.25 miles, was it 10K? I do that, and actually sometimes I run more than that, but 3 times a week I go outside and I run. All right, and I'm in pretty good shape. That's a tactic, but you don't see the underlying strategy of all the other things. What time do I wake up? What time do I go to sleep? What am I doing all the other days when I'm not working out? What do I do after my workout? Am I foam rolling? Am I putting ice on my body? Am I taking any supplements? What am I eating? Do you see all of those things? See, it's not just running that keeps me in shape. It's a bigger picture. It's a whole structure of what I'm doing that keeps me in shape. It's not just the one tactic that you know about. And this is the mistake a lot of people make, is they see one tactic, they go copy the tactic, and then they say, well, that tactic doesn't work. Oh, it does work. It has to work when it's part of a system. And the challenge that many of us have these days is because we're in this microwave world where everything appears to come quick. Everything appears to come easy if you just plug in this one little tactic, and this is the way things are sold to you. in that people go running from one tactic to the next, hoping that they will hit the lottery and everything's just going to work perfectly after they do that one thing. That's not the way it really works, though. So this is the problem that a lot of people have, is not having the foundation of understanding systems, strategies, and all the underlying stuff that, again, you can't see from the outside looking in. So just running Facebook ads alone, to wrap up our example here, will not produce the desired result. So make sure you're not copying tactics, but copying strategies. You at least understand the underlying strategy if you're going to copy a tactic. Another example, somebody goes to the gym, they see somebody in the gym with big, impressive muscles. You want to get big muscles. So you start doing the same thing you see them doing. You see them doing bicep curls, so you're like, all right, I'm going to do bicep curls. All right, great. But you don't see all the other things this guy does. Again, the guy in the gym with the big muscles, does he do cardio? Does he stretch? What does he do for recovery? What does he eat? What's his sleeping routine? What are all the other things he does that allows his muscles to look as good as they look? It's probably not just standing in the mirror doing bicep curls like you saw. So you can't just copy one piece of what other people do. You have to pick the entire process. I remember back in the basketball days when Kyrie Irving first came into the NBA. So this is a little over 10 years ago. I would get a ton of young men would come to me and they say, well, Dre, I want to dribble like Kyrie Irving. I want to have handle like Kyrie Irving. And of course, he was the hot thing in basketball, great ball handler, still to this day, great ball handler. So a lot of players wanted to play like Kyrie Irving. So these players would say, well, Dre, I heard that Kyrie Irving, when he was playing, he would put a basketball inside of a plastic bag, and then he would practice dribbling the ball while the ball was wrapped up in a plastic bag, because ostensibly putting the ball in a plastic bag makes it harder to control, so that your handle will get better because you're dribbling a ball that's harder to control. Allegedly. Now, I never heard Kyrie say he did that. I never saw Kyrie doing it, but allegedly this was a legend that got passed around the basketball community, that Kyrie Irving used to dribble a basketball inside of a plastic bag. Now, did he do that? I don't know. But I made a video one time where I addressed this question, because I kept getting asked it over and over again. And the answer, I'll tell you all right here, very short, very quickly. If Kyrie Irving did put a basketball in a plastic bag, you doing that will not necessarily turn you into Kyrie Irving. And here's why. Because dribbling a basketball in a plastic bag is just but one piece of the big picture of what Kyrie Irving did to become Kyrie Irving. What about everything else he did? What if he was waking up at 5 in the morning, and Kyrie's from New Jersey, so what if he was waking up at 5 in the morning in New Jersey and running 2 miles before he went to school? You doing that in the snow and ice and rain? Or are you doing that part too? What about if he was lifting weights? What about all the time he spent working on the fundamentals, not the fancy stuff that you see on YouTube and TikTok, but the fundamentals of dribbling in basketball before he put the ball in a plastic bag? Because his father's a former pro basketball player, so I'm sure he was drilled in the fundamentals from a very young age. What about that? Are you doing that as well? What about the schoolwork that he was doing before he went to basketball practice? Are you doing that part too? Because he went to a very good prep school in high school, then he went to Duke, which is not a school that's very easy to get into academically, even if you're a great basketball player. They don't recruit all basketball players, they only recruit some of them. That's a fact. All right, what about all that stuff? All right, so are you only picking and choosing the parts that are fun and easy for you, or are you going to do the entire picture? And I said that on YouTube, and I stopped getting questions about Kyrie Irving and dribbling a basketball in a plastic bag, simply because people don't want to do the big picture work. They just want to do the easy, fun stuff. And this is a common thing, whether you're talking about 15-year-old basketball players or 45-year-old entrepreneurs, they all had the same problem. Many people just want to pick and choose the fun, easy, comfortable parts of a process and wonder why they're not getting the same result. This is why. Point number 3. Today's topic, once again, is things do not work just for you. Point number 3. We live in this world where, again, things can apparently be microwaved, or at least they appear to be. Things like success, long-term results. You can just get these really quick, just copy this one little tactic. This is not true. Now, I know. People sell it to you as if it is true. It is not true. It may appear to be true. And there are many people, programs, applications, websites that will sell you the idea of this being true, but it's not true. Your job, knowing this, and maybe you'll take my word for it, maybe you won't, is to discipline yourself and understand that you get long-term results from, if you want long-term sustainable results, you have to put in long-term systematic discipline work. There is no shortcut to this, folks. I know that there are people out there who will sell it to you. Trust me, I actually know some of the people who will sell you shortcut, microwave, long-term results. They will sell you on the idea that you can get a long-term result just by doing this short-term thing. I'm here to tell you, and you can judge this against your own logic and your better knowledge, that sustainable long-term results are always a result of long-term, systematic, disciplined work. Always. You cannot get long-term results from a microwaved action unless it's a negative result. You can get negative long-term results from a microwave action, but not positive ones. It can't just be one simple tactic you heard of yesterday, you apply today, and all of a sudden everything's working. Unless you had the baseline foundation already laid down. That if you already had the work, then that can work. But other than that, no. You must follow a process just like everyone else, just like everything else in the world. All right, look at nature. Now, if you're ever not sure about anything a human says, just look at nature and ask yourself, is this aligned with the laws of nature? The laws of nature says what? You plant a seed for a flower, a plant, a tree, and what happens? You got to put the seed in there, you got to give it water, you got to give it sun, and what else do you got to give it? What's the other thing you got to give a plant to make it grow? You give it water, sun, is one more thing. Time. You got to give it time. It's not going to happen overnight just because you heard about something on Instagram 2 days ago. It doesn't work that way, folks. Again, every time somebody gives you some idea and tells you that they can help you get certain outcome that sounds too good to be true, just ask yourself the following question. Does it align with the laws of nature? Now listen, could I help you get a big result and big changes in your business tomorrow? I could if you already have the baseline foundation laid down. Now, if you have no baseline foundation, then we got to put some time in. We got to put some work in. I'll tell you that right up front. Now, other people will sell you on the idea that you don't have to do that. They can help you do it quick. Okay? You can buy it if you want to. But don't say you weren't told. You must follow a process just like everything else in the universe. It may appear things can come fast these days, and you can learn them quickly, but there's still a lot of work that has to be done that you may or may not know about. Your job is to find out about that work, then do the work. All that said, let's recap today's class, which is things do not work just for you. Things do not just decide to hate on you. I sometimes get people using this phrase when I tell them about a process, tactic, or strategy that I know produces a positive result, and they don't do it right and then say, well, it didn't work for me. Point number one, you follow a program that others have followed successfully and do not get the desired results. That means there's something you either did or did not do that caused that outcome. The only variable is you. The system did not change. Only thing that changed is you, or the only thing that changed was the human using it, which is you. Things did not go rogue and decide to just change on you at the last minute. Point number two, while it is true that some things are not for everyone, formulas are formulas because they work every time when they are followed. That's why they are formulas. So choose your formulas wisely and know what outcome you are after before you start randomly doing something. There's nothing wrong with a formula if it has already been proven. Many people take one piece of a formula, a tactic, and they try to apply that tactic, then wonder why they didn't get the same result. This is because you don't have the underlying strategy in place. Make sure you're following strategies and not merely tactics. Point number three, we live in a world where things can apparently be microwaved, or at least they appear to be, like success and long-term results. This is not true. Anytime you see something that looks like it can produce a long-term result with a short-term input, ask yourself if it aligns with the laws of nature. The laws of nature say you plant the seed, you water the seed, you give the seed sun, then you must give Mother Nature time to do its job. And it's the same thing when it comes to your business. It's the same thing when it comes to your long-term success, when it comes to your relationships, your body, your finances, anything that you're doing. You must give it time along with sustained, disciplined inputs. All of those must happen at the same time, not picking and choosing when you feel like it or when you're excited about it all the time. That is the discipline. That's why every day when I open the show, I tell you the discipline to show up day after day to do the work. All right, this is not new, folks. I've been saying this every day for 6 years. For 2,000 episodes, I've said the same thing every single time. You must follow the process. There are no exceptions. You follow the process just like nature, just like everyone else. Your job is to find out what the process is, then apply it. I can help you with that. And let me tell you how. First of all, text me to get my daily motivation every day. A message to keep you focused, sharp, and on point. My number is 305-384-6894. And secondly, you want to work with me directly, I can help you figure out what strategies you need to have in place. First of all, you got to get your mind in the right spot of understanding what I just talked about here today, amongst other things. Then we can implement it, put a strategy in place Then we have the accountability to make sure you're executing. Then we get to the execution and implementation of the strategy. We do this in layers. There are levels to this game. That is all happening in my Bulletproof Mastermind or my 3rd-day mastermind, which is, you can get links to both of those by going to workonyourgameuniversity.com. Again, workonyourgameuniversity.com. If you want to work with me one-on-one, there's a link at the top to schedule a call with me. If you want to join the mastermind, you can join that straight by going to workonyourgameuniversity.com right there on that page. You don't have to schedule a call first. You can just join the mastermind. Again, that is at workonyourgameuniversity.com. Work on your game. Dre all day.